I'm Lizzy Friedman, this is Inside Ambition, and you're on 34th in Art, where we talk all things arts and entertainment in and around Drexel University. This week we're talking dance and community. We all dance, whether you like to admit it or not. We all get our bodies up and moving and shake what our mamas gave us. It's so cathartic. I know personally the best way for me to get into a good mood is to just bust a few moves in front of a mirror, and boom, instant smile. As the killers say, are we human or are we dancer? Well, I say it's both. We're all also part of community, in one way or another. For example, I'm a part of the Drexel community, the Westphal community, and the care way too much about my coffee beverages community, just to name a few. Each community is important and makes up our society, and that's why community-driven programs exist, to connect and strengthen its members and to create more empathetic and overall better groups of citizens. And in a city like Philadelphia, where you could walk through a very low-income neighborhood and then in just a few blocks see luxury penthouse apartments, it's important to connect people and spread opportunities that everyone deserves. And art is an amazing way to connect community. And like I said before, we can all dance to some degree, even if you can't catch a rhythm for your life and you're up there dancing like Drake in the Hotline Bling video. I know that's an old reference, but that's as hip as I am. When a group of people come together and to dance and learn something new, they can connect and relate to each other on a real level. As part of its vision to become one of the world's most civically engaged universities, Drexel offers many community-driven programs that connect the students of the city to its everyday residents. We all have to take Civic 101 as first-year students, so if there's anyone who knows about community engagement, it's a dragon. And that's exactly why I have our next guest with us today. As an advocate for accessibility in dance, I'm delighted to be able to talk to Drexel Associate Teaching Professor in Dance and co-founder of Girls Steaming Through Dance, Val Iffil. Hi Val, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks so much, Lizzy, for the invitation.
Of course. So to start, can you tell us a little bit about your journey with activism in dance and how you've kind of worked it into your career?
Yeah. Like anything else, I feel like real passion comes from, lived experience. And I think part of my activism comes from being a woman of color, kind of navigating my way through certain spaces, a lot of predominantly white spaces, as well as a lot of creative spaces, and just noticing where there are gaps, and noticing, communities that I would have loved as a young person or as, an adult, communities that I would love to be a part of. And if you don't see it out there, then you just need to create it, right? And so I think that has really been the impetus for my work and activism in dance. And really, dance should be accessible to all people. We all have bodies that move, to varying degrees. And and we should all be able to have that as a form of expression. And I think that also, as a young person, I didn't often see myself reflected in even my teachers, right? So what my dance teachers, my school teachers, and it, like you were saying, it makes such a difference when you can see yourself represented, whether it's like on the screen, on the stage, in learning environments.
Yeah, definitely. And so you run a group with other Drexel faculty that gives young Black women the space to connect dance with science and technology. So how does Black Girls Steaming Through Dance work?
So we are in our fourth year, and it's a collaboration across four different colleges at Drexel University. So the Westphal College of Media Arts and Design, the College of Computing and Informatics, as well as the School of Education. And so there are four different faculty members. So I'm the representative in dance. Raja Shar is the representative from product design in the Westphal College. And Dr. Ayana Allen Handy is the representative from the School of Education. And then Dr. Michelle Rogers is from Computing and Informatics. So the four of us came together together because really we wanted to work together. And one of the things that we had in common is we are kind of few or only, in our respective areas. And we all have this common passion for, like, what if we mixed it up a little bit? What if we changed the game a little bit by, exposing young girls to all of these different areas so they can see what they like and, can really explore. And the idea is when they get older, maybe they'll join one of these fields. So we sort of combine dance and design, product design, and we do that primarily through wearable technology. And then we code that technology and we lean on virtual reality and augmented reality. And we create something at the end, some kind of performance. And since we went online, we've been doing some, working in the virtual space in new ways. But we like to have a final performance for families. And yeah, so that's a little bit about the different, kind of elements that we put together.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that's great because there's such a disconnect. I feel like sometimes between like STEM and then the arts, and it's like I love seeing the combination where you make STEAM, and it's like you got that A in there, you got the arts.
We got the A, Lizzy. Yes.
Yes, you always need the A.
And there's so much creativity, like the girls work with us from the beginning of a project to the end, right? So they learn about dance making and choreography. And then we have our units where they're designing and, those are like the messier days, which I love. There's like stuff everywhere and tape stuck to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, they're making that we create a making space for them. And then so they design the costumes that they wear to connect with the choreography they've created. And then with the, wearable technology, they'll make it like light up and then they code it, right, to connect with the music in certain ways.
Mhm.
But they really get to think about creating a piece of art, right? They create a work of art and they get to see it through from the beginning to end, and they're involved in the process each step of the way.
Mhm. Yeah, that sounds really lovely. And how old are these girls exactly?
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for asking that. So they're all living in West Philadelphia and they range from age 7 to 13.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's a really cool age and it's been nice to sort of follow them and like hear
Mm-hmm.
stories about how this connects with their schoolwork,
Yeah,
or how they were able to like bring it into their schoolwork. And but this age they're so creative. So
right.
that's really exciting.
Yeah, and that's such like like that age range is like, you're changing so much, you're growing so much, you're really like learning who you are. So it's really important for I think these girls to have this kind of place where they can experience all these different things and figure out like what they really love to do. I think that's really great to see, and I think that definitely those girls benefit a lot from that. And I mean, this kind of jumps a little bit off of that, but so much positivity comes from programs like these. What do you personally love to see, like, come out of it and working with this?
Okay. All right. All right. So let's
Okay.
think about this. I mean, so much, so much, I feel like there's just something about being in a space, and even like being in a space where you're the majority, you like look around and you
Yeah.
see other, black girl, like this, like, black girl magic, like black
Yeah.
girls, black
Yeah.
women, and because we're not a monolith, right? Like we
Right.
are all very different with our different interests. And so it's rare to, to be able to see that, especially in academic spaces. And so that's something that, I love about being a part of this community. But something that I want to see come out of this is, just to circle back to, what I'd mentioned before, I think it's just more women of color in these fields, contributing from our unique perspectives and enhancing, enriching these, multiple different fields because of the access and the exposure. And yeah, so I think that that's the end goal, to see more diversity in dominant spaces.
A little bit more to that, what keeps you motivated when like work like this might seem challenging? Times like these with like the Black Lives Matter movement and everything that's really important happening. People are getting really fed up, and it seems like things just aren't like we're hitting walls. It seems like sometimes, which is really hard to see. What keeps you moving?
Well, isn't that real? Thank you for asking that. I feel like that's so real. And it's the girls, period. You know what I mean? Like it's these girls who are so deserving of the world and more, right? And who are so smart and are so creative and like, you know, they are our legacy, right? Like they are the future. You know what I mean? And so let's keep on pouring into them even when we're exhausted. I think that's real. And something that we also do is, we don't ignore like the noise and all of the things that are happening, and so after, George Floyd's murder, we didn't continue with the programming. We canceled for that week, and we said, you know what, let's take a pause, and we need to have a moment to grieve because this is a lot, and so I think that we're constantly just trying to tune into the humanity of the work and then keep our mind on, the goal, which is these girls.
Yeah. With this being kind of like a college-based program, why do you feel that colleges are the best kinds of spaces for these community-driven programs? And I know you've also worked with the University of Akron and other like university-driven programs. Why do you feel that like these are kind of the best places to get these programs going?
I mean, I think for so many reasons. I think one of the big reasons is the university students. I've been doing a lot of work in like community-based learning work. Part of that was at the Dornsife Center. There's a dance program called Dance at the Dornsife Center, which I just feel so grateful to have had the opportunity to start back in 2014. But would I ask the parents, part of like the survey process or whatever, was like, what's most valuable about this? And hands down, everybody's like the connection with the college students, like the girls interacting with the college students. And then like the college Drexel students who were the teachers would oftentimes just show up to teach like an hour early and just sit with the kids and do homework or like talk with the families. So there's like a community, like just a really rich community, bringing in people from like multiple perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's unique to, a university environment, especially one that has such a robust connection to community-based learning, is, I think so often we exist within our own silos and our own communities, and we don't get to experience other people's perspectives. But because, of our connection to Drexel, we really have the opportunity to kind of reach outside of our own bubbles and connect with people who may have had a different experience.
So, if Drexel students were to want to get involved in the program, how exactly would they go about that?
Yeah, so they could reach out to us. And I would say, you could check us out. We have a website called blackgirlsteaming.com. And, feel free to take a look at, the kind of thing that we do. And if you're interested, I would reach out to one of the faculty members. You could certainly reach out to me. And yeah, and just say, hey, I'd love to get involved. How can I get involved? But we do have some positions available, or if you want to check out a performance, I think that there are varying levels that you can get involved.
Yeah, that's great. That's so good to know, and that'll of course be shared with all of our viewers here. All in the comments and the descriptions. It'll be on our Instagram. It'll be everywhere. We'll get the word out. Yeah, of course. And yeah, I think being in a community like Philadelphia, and especially West Philly, where there's such a wide range of socioeconomic standings. You see everything. I think it's great that Drexel offers so many programs like this that work to bridge those gaps together. And I think it's great that like us college students can get that experience and like see all these different facets of our world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, so before we wrap up, that was my last question for you.
Okay.
I want to thank you for the important work that you do and for sharing it here on the show. I really look forward to seeing what else Black girls steaming through dance and all other community dance programs will achieve in the near future.
Oh, thank you so much, Lizzy. And I'll be sure to loop you in and let you know whenever we have something going on.
Awesome. And that will always be shared right here at Inside Ambition and 34th and Arts Avenue. So thanks again, Val. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Bye-bye.
Bye.
It's clear the magnitude community-driven programs have in our world, especially dance-related ones like BGSTD. If you're into movement or technology or community-driven programs in general, you should definitely reach out to Val or anyone else mentioned in the video. We'll be sure to include more information in the description box below. And there are countless other opportunities through the Dornsife Center and Lindy Center right here on campus to get involved in our community, as well as numerous organizations throughout Philly. So get out there and get engaged with your community any way you can. Safely, of course. And if you're including art and creativity in that, all the better. Thank you for joining me here on 34th and Art, and be sure to follow Inside Ambition on Instagram and YouTube for all the latest. I'll see you right here next week at the same address. In the meantime, keep on moving and shaking. Bye.